Good day, learners! Today we are going to discuss measure of position, specifically quartile of group and ungroup data in statistics part 4. But before anything else, do not forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so that you will be notified for my upcoming videos.
Uno, dos, tres, cuatro.
This video lesson will discuss about measure of position, specifically in quartile of group and ungroup data in basic statistics part 4. Measure of position. Measure of position like quartile, decile, and percentile are descriptive statistics because they describes only the results. The most common and widely used point measure is the percentile. For instance, if an individual has a percentile rank of 80, this means that in the typical sample of 100 individuals, he excels above 80 individuals' lower rank, or he excels 80% of the individuals in the distribution. If the researcher wishes to determine 1/4 or 3/4 of the cases, quartile is used. If he wants to know the 1/10, 2/10, 3/10, etc. of the cases, decile is appropriate. Let us define quartile. Quartile is defined a point measure in a scale where the distribution is divided into 4 equal parts. If the number of cases is counted from the lowest score or lowest class limit of the first quarter, first quartile or Q sub 1 is used. If it is in the second quarter, second quartile or Q sub 2 is applicable. If up to the third quarter is counted of the number of cases, third quartile or Q sub 3 is appropriate. Theoretically, second quartile or Q sub 2, the median, the fifth decile or D sub 5, and the 50th percentile are the same. Let us have an example of finding quartile of ungrouped data with add data. Example number 1. A college professor at a certain university assigns statistics practice problems to be worked via net. Students must use a secret code to access the problems, and the time of login and logout are automatically recorded of the professors. At the end of the week, the professor examines the amount of time each student spent solving the assigned problems. The data is provided below in the minutes. Find the first quartile or Q1. This is our data. We have steps to be followed to find the first quartile of the data. First step is to arrange the scores from highest to lowest. And the second step is mark 1 from the lowest score, 2 to second lowest score, and so on up to the highest score is marked from below. Step 3. From the highest score above, mark 1 from the highest score, 2 second highest score, and so on. Step 4. Find the n over 4 from below and get the score that falls within the value where n is equal to 7. Because if we are going to count all the number of datas we have in the problem, there are 17 datas all in all. That is why n is equal to 17. So to solve now, n over 4, substituting now the value of the n, which is 17, to n over 4, that is equal to 17 over 4, which gives us 4.25. And we are going to round it up So 4.25 becomes 5, or the fifth place from below. Okay, so this is now our place, the fifth place. Then the score where n over 4 falls within is 25. Step 5, find the 3n over 4 from above and get the score that falls within the value where n is equal to 17. So we are going to use now 3n over 4 and substitute the value of the n, which is 17, so that becomes 3 times 17 over 4, that is equal to 12.75, or the 13th place from above. The score where 3n falls within is 25. Okay. Since the scores were n over 4 and 3n over 4 are the same, which is 25, then the quartile Q1 is 25. Example number 2. Find the third quartile in the problem of example number 1. Same procedures we are going to do from step 1 to step 3. Arrange the scores from the highest to lowest. Step 2, mark 1 from the lowest score, 2, second lowest score, and so on up to the highest score is marked from below. The third, from the highest score above, mark 1, 2, second highest score, and so on. Step 4, find 3n over 4 from below and get the score that falls within the value where n is equal to 17. So let us compute. 3n over 4 is equal to 3 times 17 divided by 4 is equal to 12.75. And we are going to round up the 12.75, that becomes 13, or the 13th place from below. So this is now our 13th place, and the number that falls within the 13th place is 43. Then the score where 3n over 4 falls within is 43. Step 5, find the n over 4 from above and get the score that falls within the value where n is equal to 17. So let us compute. N over 4 is equal to 17 divided by 4 is equal to 4.25, and let us now round up 4.25, that is become 5, or the fifth place from above. So this is our fifth place from above. The score where n over 4 falls is 43. Since the scores where 3n over 4 and n over 4 are the same, which is 43, then the third quartile is 43. In this example, we are going to discuss how to find quartile of n group data with even number of data. Example number 3. The speed of stenographers in typing per minute are shown in the table at the right. Find the first quartile of the speed of stenographers. This is our data. These are the steps on how to find the quartile of the data. Step 1, arrange the scores from highest to lowest. Step 2, mark 1 from the lowest score, 2, second lowest score, and so on up to the highest score is marked from below. Step 3, from the highest score above, mark 1, mark 2 the second highest score, and so on. Step 4, find the n over 4 from below and get the scores that falls within the value where n is equal to 8. So let us compute. Substitute the value of n, which is 8. So we have 8 divided by 4, which is equal to 2, or the second placed from below. So if we're going to look at our data at the left, this is our second place. The score where n over 4 falls within is 110. Step 5. Find the 3n over 4 from above and get the score that falls within the value where n is equal to 8. So let us compute. Substitute the value of n, which is 8. So we have 3 times 8 divided by 4 is equal to 6, or the 6 placed from above. So if we're going to look at the table at the left, so this is our 6 placed. Then the score where 3n over 4 falls within is 112. Since the scores of n over 4 and 3n over 4 falls within are not the same, which are 110 and 112 respectively, to get the first quartile, add the two scores and divide it by 2. Then we can say quarter 1 is equal to 110 plus 112 divided by 2 is equal to 111. Then we can say that the first quartile of the data is 111. We are done finding the quartile of ungrouped data. At this time, we are going to discuss how to find quartile of group data. To find the quartile of group data, we are going to use these formulas. As what you have noticed, we did not include the second quartile and the fourth quartile but when you say second quartile, that is the median of the data, and when we say fourth quartile, that is the entire data. So that is why we only have first quartile and the third quartile. As what you can recall, this formula is the same in finding the median of the group data, where L is the exact lower limit of the interval containing the quartile class. The F is the sum of the frequencies below L. The Fm is the frequency of the interval containing the quartile class. The N is the total frequencies, and the I is the class interval. Let us have an example. 30 students in the class took a statistics test. The results are recorded in the frequency distribution table as shown in the table below. Find the third quartile. This is the frequency distribution table. So we have class interval and the frequency. The first thing that we need to do is we have to complete the column for the cumulative frequency less than. When you say less than, we will start copying the frequency in the lower class interval. So if we're going to look at now the table, so in the class interval, the lowest class interval started at the bottom. So what we are going to do, we are going to copy the frequency of the lowest class interval, which is 7. To complete the column for the cumulative frequency less than, we are going to add 7 plus 9 gives 16, 16 plus 7, 23 plus 2, 25, 25 plus 3 gives us 28, 28 plus 2 gives us 30. So we already completed the column for the cumulative frequency less than. Next is we have to locate the third quartile class by computing 3n divided by 4, where n is equal to 30. So we have 3 times 30 divided by 4, that gives us 22.5. We are going to use this 22.5 to locate our third quartile class in the column of our cumulative frequency less than. By inspection, we can say that 22.5 is located in the cumulative frequency less than 23. So we can say this is our third quartile class. After identifying the third quartile class in our frequency distribution table, so let us identify what is the exact limit of our class interval where the third quartile class located. So if we have 40 to 49 as our class interval, so by subtracting 0.5 in 40, that gives us 39.5, and by adding 0.5 to 49, that gives us 49.5. So the exact limit of the class interval now is 39.5 to 49.5. Then after, we have to identify the values of L. Our L now will be the lower class interval of the quartile class. So our L will be 39.5. Our Fm, that is the frequency of the quartile class, that is 7. And the cumulative frequency less than, or the frequency below The quartile class is 16, that is our uppercase F. And also, let us compute for our I using the formula U minus L plus 1, or the upper limit minus the lower limit plus 1. If we are going to consider our class interval 70 to 79, 79 is our upper limit and 70 is our lower limit. So we are going to substitute it in our formula so that we could get now our I. So I is equal to 79 minus 70 plus 1. Our I is equal to 10. After we are going to substitute now the values to our formula in third quartile. So we have third quartile is equal to 39.5 plus 30 times 3 divided by 4 minus 16 divided by 7 times 10. So simplifying 30 times 3 divided by 4, that gives us 22.5. And simplifying further, we have 39.5 plus 22.5 minus 16 divided by 7 times 10 is equal to 39.5 plus 6.5 times 10 divided by 7. So as we are going to update now our equation, so 39.5 plus 65 divided by 7 is equal to 39.5 plus 9.29. Then we can say our third quartile is equal to 48.79. And that ends our video discussion at this moment. Thank you for watching. But before you will end this video, please do assess your learnings by answering the self-test activity. Thank you.